Yorkshire pudding.
The next item on our programme is the Yorkshire pudding.
They're more Yorkshire than flat caps and whippets. And tomorrow, one of the region's best-loved inventions celebrates its very own day, British Yorkshire Pudding Day. Sheffield College chef lecturer Peter Mara used the event to show his students how to make the best-tasting Yorkshires.
There's nothing quite like a hot Yorkshire pudding straight from the oven. The reason they've lasted so long is because they're cheap to make, easy to produce, and filling. Basically, you can put anything inside one and call it a meal. Years ago, when families were much bigger, Yorkshire puddings were a great way of ensuring everyone got fed without breaking the bank.
1.
Peter was first shown how to make them as a trainee chef at the Royal Vic in Sheffield 40 years ago.
They're a wonderful tradition around these parts. I still remember when pubs used to serve them free at the bar on quiz nights. At the end of the day, they cost coppers to make and are delicious. What more could you want?
The first recorded reference of a Yorkshire pudding appeared in Hannah Glass's Chapter of Puddings in The Art of Cookery Made Plain and Simple book, published in 1747. Now Peter pulls a worn first edition of the book from the shelves as he sets about demonstrating how to make the perfect Yorkshire pudding.
2.
Far from being a complicated process, Peter simply mixes together eggs, flour, milk and a pinch of salt before popping the mixture into cook.
We all love Yorkshire puddings because you can use them in so many ways. But it's amazing how many people worry about getting them right.
Said 62-year-old Peter.
Either the mixture's too thick or thin, or they fall flat in the oven. But they really are simple once you know how. The key is confidence, and not being afraid to play around with the ingredients and timings.
3.
Peter also says it is the same common mistakes that people make that causes the puddings to fail. Not letting the oven and pudding tray get hot enough. Have a little patience. He has certain rules. Don't substitute olive oil with virgin oil, as it won't reach the temperature needed. Likewise, don't swap whole milk for skimmed milk, as Yorkshire puddings need a certain amount of fat content. And don't slam the oven door unless you want pancakes. Also, don't keep opening the door to have a look unless it's your first time and you're really not sure of the timings. And it's incorrect thinking that the batter should be left to stand for a while before you make your puddings. If made correctly, there's no need for this.
4.
And now your recipe, Peter.
Right. To make 6 medium-sized Yorkshire puddings, you need the following ingredients. 4 eggs, 200 grams of plain flour, just over a pint of whole milk, a pinch of salt, olive oil.
5.
Now, set your oven to 230 degrees centigrade or gas mark 8. Put a splash of oil in the bottom of each pudding section and put the tray in the oven to get hot. Then, Crack your eggs into a large mixing bowl and whisk in the milk. Sieve in the plain flour to get rid of any bits and mix well, making sure to stir in all the mixture from the side of the bowl. Finally, add a generous pinch of salt and sieve the whole mixture one more time. Take your now hot tray out of the oven and pour some mixture into each segment. Because the tray is hot, you should see the mixture starting to cook straight away.
6.
Depending on your oven, it can take anywhere from 15 to 35 minutes for the batter to cook, so keep an eye on them. But don't be tempted to keep opening the door, as your puddings will fall flat as pancakes. Once they're done, how you eat them is up to you. With all the trimmings, with sage and thyme, a generous spoon of onion gravy, a portion of stew, chili or bolognese, with a sausage as toad in the hole, or even just on their own. No food is more versatile.
7.
Fantastic. I've tried lots of Yorkshire pudding recipes and this one far outweighs them all. It's true about the rising. I put mine into one large dish on the middle shelf. I just got to my pudding in time before it hit the top of the oven.
I used 150 grams of plain flour, 175 millilitres of milk with 50 millilitres of cold water, 2 eggs, 1 egg white, a pinch of salt and a pinch of mustard powder. Still following the guidelines above, but I found that the Yorkies rise much better this way and keep that oven door shut.
8.